Hi, my name is Nyx Kane,
Hello, and I was just called a whore.
and this is Smoke and Revelations.
Yes, it is.
So, again, this is Nyx speaking. I just wanted to start off by introducing myself and telling you a little bit about me. I'm a actor, writer. If you thought dance or music was coming after that, nope, none of those. I am black, and let's not talk about it. Um, just joking. So yeah, I'm an actor. I'm a writer. I like to consider myself to be a storyteller. That's what I love to do. I love telling a story, whether that is writing it or performing it myself. It's something that I'm really passionate for. Um, I am also a person of color. I am black, and I suffer, or I should say, I live with depression, severe depression, anxiety, PTSD, ADHD, and what's the last thing? My list be long. Uh, oh, and eating disorder. Also with a little dabble of fibromyalgia, or at least that's what the doctors say. So yeah, I just think all of those things are important to note. Um, I, as someone who deals with those things, uh, thought it would be amazing if I had other people to look up to who dealt with those things. So just for myself and for anybody else out there, I just decided to, record my journey and just talk about it. How about you, Sir Whore?
All I even said was that my name was whore, and then you just told everybody every single thing about yourself, and I am overwhelmed. I don't want to tell anybody anything. I'm 6'1". My social security number ends in 17, and that's all you're going to get. One time, I slipped off the hood of the car and I hit my forehead on a concrete stair and had to get 4 stitches. Sometimes I get sad. I have a fake tooth in the front. I'm 40. And I like to be silly. Oh, I'm just going to be silly for a minute.
Okay, okay.
And I'll say all the rest at some point.
And scene. So the title "Smoke and Revelations" is something that we came up with another hot friend.
True.
One night, insane.
And the smoke is because we are high
Yeah,
on weed marijuana.
because it's definitely not high on life.
No,
Um,
no, it absolutely no.
it's the
We also
opposite,
live in St. Louis, Missouri.
unfortunately. Go, go sports. Whatever team we're representing, sports.
The Rams aren't here anymore. They moved away.
They went back to their homeland, which was California, I think. Um, but
I
yeah.
don't know anything about football or football.
Well, you know how to pronounce them.
Yeah, because I hear people say it on TV. Not because I would know. I would just say football, football, football. I'm a stupid. Oh, I'm white, so gross. We don't have to talk about that either. But we should, so we will sometimes, because we're dumb as shit. That's a thing. That's a thing that should be included.
But yeah, we're smoking because I think it kind of loosens us up. And as
Side note, nothing really loosens me up because I'm like a chihuahua and I'm always like a little trembly, but it helps a little bit.
I say it helps. Yeah, maybe just a little bit.
A
I
little
mean,
bit.
yeah, because I'm special any time of the day. It just helps me have a reason to be special.
Well, I have an attitude problem, so it's really hard to control, and the weed marijuana only helps a little bit because nothing really ever all the way helps.
No, I
I'm also
understand
a
that.
brat with an attitude problem.
Ooh,
Not a good combination.
you know, he is a wonderful white man.
We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, but smoking revelations, smoking revelations. We got the smoking part. And revelations are just things I think that click for us. I don't know if Sir Whore, whose real name is
Ronnie Break.
yes,
Yes.
Ronnie Break discussed it, but there are quite a few things that we have in common, such as
So true. Well, I mean, there are lots of things that I couldn't think of off the top of my head. But I also wanted to first say that the reason Revelations is important is because to us it is important to not just talk, like to have a point in what we're saying and have a reason for speaking, which sometimes works in my favor and sometimes does not, because I also am an empath, which is one thing that we both very much have in common.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, I'm thinking of all the like little things though, like
The little
the
things that help us click because I've noticed just talking out loud or writing down what I am feeling or what's going on, that's the thing that helps it click and you have that little revelation.
absolutely.
And there are so many moments like that via social media, television, books, just daily interactions. There are revelations kind of everywhere. And I guess, this is just a platform where we talk about that and how it has helped us, I think, with our mental health.
Yes, but
Mhm.
also we're writers who are not writing.
Yeah.
So this is like a little weird and difficult for me only because I can have like I can think out my
Yeah.
patterns
Like
right
when you
in the
put
way I
that,
want it to sound. Like I like to sound more poetic and thoughtful
and when you put the pen to paper, it's with intent. So you know exactly what's going to be down
yeah.
versus the squirrel moments you might have in real life. No, no,
And
no,
that's
no.
the ADD, which we also have in common.
Yay!
Love that for
ADHD.
us.
Yes. And guys, there's two
Focusing.
different versions of it. So yeah, you don't have to physically be somebody who can't sit down and have ADHD, by the way.
That's good because I do like to sit down, but I still move a lot. Like I
Mhm.
always do move a lot.
I'm always changing positions.
Yeah, I'm.
Like I'm only
Or
comfortable for that millisecond.
I am not even really all that comfortable a lot. Like things are always kind of hurting. Like
Yeah.
my shoulders are hurting if I
Yeah.
sit up too long, or my elbows go numb if I like
Yeah.
put my arm on anything.
Yeah.
So I almost want to just be like suspended.
Mm-hmm. Floating.
And that would feel good, but I don't want to get in the water. Gross me out. Yuck, yuck. No, I don't want to float in water.
Him and water have had a beef since the Wizard of Oz.
You know what? Also, yeah, because fuck that witch. She was ignorant.
She was just doing her job and she did it well until the end.
I, as I get older, I can see all of the different sides a little better, even though I still don't know. And I saw this YouTube account. I don't know. It was like just randomly in my YouTube queue. of this person who had the opinion that Glinda was actually the bad witch in the Wizard of Oz
Oh yeah,
because
she is.
of how she orchestrated everything and could have let her have the shoes from the beginning. And I was like, yeah, I would have never thought that
Mm-hmm.
as a kid because I
Mm-hmm.
was obsessed with the Wizard of Oz.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would watch it all the way through and then rewind it and watch it all the way through again. And I would pretend I was Dorothy and I'd pretend I was the spirit. Like I would act it out. I'd make houses out of cardboard boxes. I had a Toto, like
That is so crazy.
thing.
Because like for me, when I've seen it only a handful of times, in the black household, the Wiz is the one that
I
you
love
gotta
the
watch. You know
Wiz.
what I'm saying? So it's slightly different, and I'm just gonna be honest. The evil witch act like someone's auntie, who who no one can stand in the family, but you know she make the best sweet potato pie, so you keep inviting her like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you
She
don't
was
really like her.
scary though. She was actually like pretty scary.
And she just reminded me of an aunt. Like seriously, like in the community, she's just that cranky lady in the church. You know what I'm saying? But
Well, don't bring her no bad news.
ooh, but yeah, no, I
No
was
bad
just
news. No bad news.
But yeah, what you're saying, I think it's so crazy too because for me, I know it's weird, but anybody who seems super sweet and innocent in anything is the enemy to me. So I have always identified with the Wicked Witch.
See,
Glinda looks like my enemy. It looks like a snake in sheep's clothing.
and I absolutely hear you, and to an extent, I even agree. But I like spooky things so much that I've always loved the Wicked Witch more. Anyway,
Yeah.
but I also, as I get older, really look at everyone as so dimensional that sometimes you're just a bad guy in that moment of the story. But you're not always the bad guy. You know, so I don't feel like the witch was just always being bad. Like she was pissed off because her sister was killed and those are her shoes. Like that's understandable to me. You know, like I just feel like it's important to when you look at a story, I guess I look at it from an actor perspective also because we also have that in common as actors. But I kind of like to get into the head of any character in a book or in a TV show or whatever it is. Any media where there are different characters, I like to just think of that as all the sides of us. And I try to understand that side.
And that is actually like really profound. But I'm coming from an immature place of letting everyone know that ever since the Pink Power Ranger existed, the original series, I have hated any girl in pink. Like if they are presented as like the perfect thing, she's got that pink whatever. It's always a pink item. I don't trust them, and they're the bad guy. Like, okay, a side note, how are you gonna sit here and be a Power Ranger like everybody else, but you always asking another man to help you up? You know, mostly too, she was just about her little boo thing, Jason, right? So let's say, you know, Tommy was right next to her and she needed help. She didn't ask Tommy, okay, who was just right next to her.
Nope.
You know, Kansas, Missouri, whatever. Nah, she's turn around in a circle and sit here and ask Antarctica to help just because she liked how it looked. I ain't got time. So ever since then, as a small child, pink is my enemy. So Glinda, just because of the pink on her body, like her dress, evil. I already knew it.
Interesting. All I know is Walter Jones, the Black Ranger, was all I cared about. In the Power Rangers, I don't even remember a Pink Ranger. Who is she? I don't know her. I wasn't coming for her. It was the Black Ranger, Walter E. Jones. I don't even remember his character's name. What was the Black Ranger's name?
Damn it, I gotta go down the list.
I mean, I only know his
There's
actual name
Trini, Billy,
because
Jason, Tommy, Kimberly, and Zach. Who was that?
Zach.
Yeah,
The Black
Zach.
Ranger, yeah. Because I was so obsessed, and the Power Rangers came out when I was in like 6th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And my girlfriend at the time, Heather Polite, I don't know if you can
Say last name.
find her or say her name or whatever. I don't know, because if I probably can't even find her. So whatever, go look for her if you want. I don't care. But just know that she got me an autographed picture of Zach Walter Jones, the Black Ranger. And I was like, yes. And I framed it. And I just thought he was so cool. But I also did like the Red Ranger and the Yellow Ranger. I was just joking. But I didn't care about the Pink Ranger. She
right,
was
I'm saying.
ugh.
She was the
She was
woman
annoying.
in distress.
Yeah.
She was the 2D dimensional character. Like nothing.
But not all shows were like that, because Buffy the Vampire Slayer was not like that. I mean,
but even with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you know who my favorite was? What was her name? Faith.
oh yeah, what's her name? Eliza Dushku.
Yes. Yeah,
Yes.
she was my favorite. I'm telling you, it has never been the perfect girl. Buffy was cool because she could fight, but
Buffy was not the perfect girl either.
No, but she had to be the most, despite seeing many worlds and kicking butt and still rocking her femininity. She also had the smallest view of the world, despite being a demon slayer.
Yeah.
She was the most. Her world was very small, and so
I liked Willow.
Yeah, I really loved Willow.
I don't think she was my favorite though either.
No, I'm literally Eliza Dushku. She understood it.
I guess Buffy was my favorite. For me.
Now, if we're talking about super favorites, it was definitely Eliza Dushku. I liked Buffy, but honestly, I was just in love with Angel and Spike. So, I mean,
I was kind of into Angel for a minute.
I like brooding. Or I used to when I was a kid. Like, I'm telling you, it's the Johnny Depp. It's the Antonio Banderas in Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Like, I like the whole brooding back. And it's not even necessarily because it's like, oh my God, look at him being so brooding and depressed. I'm going to be the one thing in this world that makes him smile. No, all I saw was my other half, my twin. I was like, they get it. They get it. This existence is a sham.
See, there were so many dudes that I was like attracted to on TV, but it was rarely the just the looks either, But also I didn't have it a lot. Like, also there's a reason I said my name was Mr. Horror or whatever. I didn't even care most of the time. So looks don't matter that much to me.
Like, I'm not saying you should like someone wholly for
but they are important. Don't
but I mean, like, no, because like even going back to like Kimberly and Glinda the Good Witch, they look so perfect, it's unattractive. And they needed a something other to make them 3-dimensional. So like if you can be let's choose Chris Hemsworth, because when everybody found out how funny he was in Ghostbusters, he started doing more and more comedy.
Which one is that?
He played Thor.
Oh, yeah.
So
I didn't see the Ghostbusters with him.
Oh, he did it with Melissa McCarthy, Leslie Jones.
Oh, I thought I saw that one. I don't remember him.
Because there's a point when he takes off his glasses, they're fake, and he cleans the inside of it.
That's Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
That's the same. Okay.
Yeah. So nobody knew, because he was serious in the first 2 Thor movies, but no one knew he was that funny until Ghostbusters. And me, in particular, like when I was younger, especially, I was always attracted to dark hair. Hair.
Same.
I was never really into blonde, hair or anything like that.
And I don't like redheads. Ick.
Oh.
I'm going to say that right away.
Oh, I apologize.
Mute me.
Oh my gosh. But I never found him to be attractive. I was just like, yeah, he's a stereotypical like Greek god looking individual, whatever.
Yeah,
But
that's like
then when I found out he was funny, fine as hell. Fine. Fine. Like it went from, oh yeah, you are hot, I guess. But I guess like I'm saying, like it's not everything.
yeah.
Like you're right, it's not everything, but like I ain't gonna knock it out either. I mean, like,
No, I'm not. But like, there's also something for me about muscles or muscly dudes because I like dudes.
as do I.
But yeah, another thing we have in common. But I don't muscle. It's like yeah, it's like hot, but not like hotter than
Something
a
else.
belly. You know, like it's not.
Yeah.
It's just to me just a version of what hot can be.
Oh.
Does that make sense? Like I
Yeah.
like bellies and big nipples or not big like it
I think it
depends
depends
on the person.
Yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying.
But like some people with muscles just look like other people with muscles. So to me they're not I'm not like the
No.
blood ain't gonna go to my thing and do nothing for me.
And that's what I'm saying. Like Chris Hemsworth, he was just okay. I know he looks like what is the perfect form in society's mind of what a hot guy looks like, but it meant nothing to me until he had because like for me, like I guess if we talked about like our types, I'm not necessarily into super muscular individuals. I like it when they just have natural lean muscles.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like your biceps shouldn't be bigger than your head. Like that's scary because that means you can't tie your shoes.
Yeah, please.
I'm just saying.
I
mean, because think about it. Like, okay, I know I'm on the plus size side, but I remember at one point during the pandemic, like everybody else, I gained as well, and I remember there was a point where tying my shoes was difficult. Okay, now that being said, I've lost the weight since then. Hooray! Men who have super muscly arms and are sitting here walking around like, a big buff top, they have a hard time tying their shoes too. And I don't think that should be a good thing if mine was because I was chubby, but yours is a small penis, so it came out in the ego of your arms.
Yes.
Now, that is my personal opinion. While you'll find someone else who's like, if it's all biceps, it is a yes. Or I don't want a skinny man, I want a fluffy man. Or, yeah, he's scrawny, I don't like lean. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different. Like, that's what goes through my mind. But
everybody's mind is different. And going
exactly.
back to Glinda and who was the other one? Glinda and who?
Glinda the Good Witch.
And who was
the
other?
Witch of the West? East?
Is that who we were comparing?
Glinda
the
Wicked Witch.
And the Wicked Witch?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. The whole thing being like, it's your own perception and your own lived experience that makes you think of what is good or right. Because to me, Glinda wasn't perfect and beautiful looking and supposed to be to me, she looked like corny or whatever. To me, like, I wasn't like, oh, that is what right and good and true is supposed to be. I was like, this bitch looks stupid, kind of.
She was suspect.
And I mean, she just was being so fake anyway. Like, who gave a shit? Not me. She was like, oh, you drop a house or whatever the hell. I don't even remember. And I used to watch it obsessively. Because she just, all that does just read artificial to me. And I guess that's what pink sometimes can make me think. Just seeing pink.
I always think of it as the devil in disguise. It's like it's truly the deepest, darkest red, but it distracts you by putting a white like layer on top of it and letting you think it's nice and soft. But really, it's the actual evil.
That's what pink is?
Yeah, that's what it is. And I would like to tell you this is how I sound because I'm high, but no, it's just one of those thoughts. And I said it out loud. So You're welcome.
Does any of this have to do with the imposition of gender on pink?
No.
Don't
Mm,
you think that is informed just by how you were raised?
no, yeah, okay,
Or you know what I
yes.
mean?
Yes. I wanted to disagree because you used a big word. But
Like weren't you kind of predisposed to you are a girl, here's pink. Didn't that make you hate it more? Because I didn't get to wear pink.
mhm.
So I didn't hate it. I was scared of it. Were
Mm,
you scared of it?
I don't think I was scared. I think I hated it. It represented for me weakness.
Because of femininity.
Yes. And
See?
and a lot of people think of it as vulnerability. And for me, that's how pink is. It is the epitome of
Not even woman,
no
girl.
protection.
That makes complete sense. Because I have a just an inherently different perception
Mm-hmm.
of pink
Mm-hmm.
because I couldn't wear it. That's a girl color or that's a gay color.
Mm-hmm.
But then once I embraced my gayness, I was wearing pink all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never really been. It's never been imposed on me.
Mm-hmm.
So if anything, it made me, in my rebellious nature,
Mm-hmm.
want pink. Cause screw all of you. I'm gonna claim this femininity of mine. Like I don't care what you think. And it
Yeah.
felt liberating for me.
I guess that's how it is for me then with dark colors and black. I love the power that it holds. Not saying that obviously pink or light colors hold power, just a different kind of power. But it held a power that I didn't even need to utter from across the room.
Yeah.
I feel like those colors, yes, I feel like they protect me and kept bad things from me or further bad things from me. But also I feel like darker colors are criminalized or demonized in a certain way. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, absolutely.
and
And
that,
that's because of just the white supremacy of our world. Like,
I mean, yes, but I mean, like, even in just like color bases or, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, but I guess like in most groups of people who come of color, it wouldn't be so necessarily. So yes, I guess
Like
yes,
the darkness is always
it's the evil.
equated with the evil
Or
or
like you
the
wear
dark.
black for a funeral, but the true color
Yeah.
of death is white.
Yeah, it is.
And more than one way with it, but especially in other religions and stuff like that, the white is the color of death.
And Glinda's in pink, and that's why you didn't like her. Because of the
Probably,
pink.
yeah, because of the pink, and the fact that she seems too perfect. I find that most people who seem perfect are 9 times out of 10 the worst. Well, those
Because
who
they're
seem,
fake.
yeah, that yeah, but also those who are grumpy are probably the sweetest people you'll meet. Like they didn't start off grumpy.
Yes, I did. And I'm going to stay grumpy.
Okay, don't get me wrong. Yes and no for me. But there was probably at times, even with, you're not grumpy all the time. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So whether or not,
Praise God.
somebody looks at, oh, that grumpy person, you never know. Like if somebody got to know you, you could be the sweetest. You know what I'm saying? Or you are a light, but people are too busy walking around with blinders on. Like things like that. That's what I mean. But yes,
100%.
I guess that's too what this channel is about. It's about the representation that is out there and how it influences us, affects our mental health or the way that we were
Perceive.
formed and perceive
Yeah.
life. So yeah, how we
Because
were
that's
formed
how
and what we were
we.
thinking.
I'm totally cutting.
No, you're fine.
I just was right in the same thing and then took over. That's very fucked up.
And I'm guessing it will happen more and
More,
more.
yeah. But it just is it's as actors and right as creative people, of course, the visual and like other creative people were our inspiration and are how we figure out life.
Mm-hmm.
Like I did it through all of the TV and the books that I read and
The plays and
yeah, that's how I figured me out by
it's how I understood the world. Like for me, honestly, um people were such a like people were a puzzle, and I guess everyone is true. But it's a puzzle I just didn't mind figuring out. I wanted to know why people were the way they are, or why, you know what I mean? Like that's also how I learned to interact with other people, because I myself am naturally shy, but also I was raised to believe that there is danger everywhere and anybody is ready to kidnap you at any time.
yeah, which is a real fear to have and a real thing to think of, but also it the reason you're shy is really because you can't just do the artificial thing.
Yeah.
So it's not easy to just whatever. You know, it's not as easy to just go mingle and da, 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 da.
It's draining.
But yeah, that's the real issue because it's draining for me too. I can do it. Sure, of course I can
I
do
have to
it.
keep my job somehow.
But I don't want to
have-
have to do it.
Yeah.
I want to be able to decide when I do it. And I do it for self preservation, I do it for growth, I do it for to not be so selfish because sometimes I need to do a thing I don't want to do. But that doesn't mean that I don't have control over the kind of life I have. And the life I want to have. Oh God. What? You screamed in pain.
When I bite my nails and forgot I had fake ones on, and the glue is still strong on that finger. So I lost.
I can't actually do fake nails. I wouldn't necessarily be opposed, but I can't stand to see any white on my nail. Like when the nail starts to grow over the skin.
You need the cuticles cut?
It grosses me out. No, it's that I don't like it to go above here. If there's any like white up here,
Oh.
I don't like that.
You could just clip them. Like you with your regular nails.
I clip my toenails, but I don't really clip my fingernails. I just bite them right off.
Oh, I get what you're saying now. Okay. Yeah.
And if I had fake nails, I couldn't do that. But also, I just don't like. I don't on me like longer nails. I have tried to grow them out before, and they just get in the way for me, and I don't like that. I need to feel what I'm touching. Otherwise, I can't hold it. I'm old, and everything's going numb. So if I can't feel it, I can't hold it. And sometimes I can feel it and I still can't hold it. Sometimes my like middle fingers go numb and I like can't pick something up. I have to get my other hand. And you're still biting your fake nail?
I just found a different way to do it without hurting myself.
Oh my god.
Because I know that like mental health issues and pain go hand in hand. I wonder if you have like me, fibromyalgia. I'm not saying that's what I want for you, but I'm just wondering because there are the aches and the numbness is part.
Yeah, I mean it goes like all over me though.
Yeah, my entire body. If I'm really upset or really like frustrated, I can feel throbbing in all my joints.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like my knees, my elbows.
All at the same time, my shoulders, even when I haven't been doing anything. Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if I stretch or don't stretch. I do not stretch enough.
Oh, for sure.
Do not get me wrong.
But do you notice that type of stuff when you're happy?
Not as much.
Because they're related. And I know, obviously, what I've been told, because with fibromyalgia, it's all about eliminating what it's not. And I've had a lot of tests and stuff done, so we came to the conclusion that that's it. But therapy and yoga are the things they tell you to do.
Yeah.
And there's various levels. Like some people are in extreme pain all the time, and but also fibromyalgia, from what I've been told and what I have gathered, comes from trauma, whether that be physical or emotional or mental.
Yes, all of that. Yes, I've had
All
all
of
of
the
that.
above. For me too, mate.
Yes.
So yeah, it could have been you got into a car accident, or you could have been backhand, whatever it may be. But also, I've noticed, or what I've come to the conclusion for myself, is that it happens when you're not able or don't allow yourself to express your emotions the natural way. Your body will always find a way to relieve that stress or let the pain be known. And I think that's how, at least how I was. I kept a lot to myself, and it finally manifested through my body.
But see, I don't really keep a lot to myself. That's
See, there's a difference between saying stuff and truly, like the difference between telling you facts and telling you a story.
yeah.
So like,
that's
even
true.
though you might say your opinion, they don't truly know the depth
Yeah.
of that feeling and emotion. Because there's a difference. Sometimes I talk at work just to be talking to distract them, so they don't really know who I really am on another
Yeah,
level.
no, I do that a lot. Yeah.
And that's the difference.
But
Even if you say it, sometimes you don't always really let it all out. See, me, I can sit here and talk about some stuff that, like why I even started therapy or medicine and how dark and things have gotten to. And I can say it in a very matter of fact tone. Or I could sit here and truly try to describe to you what I was feeling in those moments and break down that little barrier. It's a really thin layer. It's a thin layer between telling a fact or statement and telling a story. And it's all in how you deliver it. So there might be a lot of people who know things about you, but that doesn't mean they know you.
and that's why writing helps me.
Yep.
Because when I write, I I liked to I haven't written in a long time, but I liked to typically write in kind of a poetry way.
Mm-hmm.
Every day,
You're a poet.
multiple ones I would do. But that then helped me be able to explain and get out what was
Yep.
going on.
Mm-hmm.
So writing is kind of the only way I really know to do the thing to actually talk about it the right way and let it out. Otherwise, I am always telling a story. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm not writing, I don't know how to say it right. So it's not even exactly that I'm telling the story in a lie. It's a real story. It's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the only way I know how to kind of describe the thing. Does that make sense? Like, because I'm not writing, I don't really know how to process it.
So you're
to
saying
talk
like
about it right.
like somebody can say, so I got in my car to go home. I got out of my car when I got home. So they told you a story. They told you something. They told you facts. They got in their car to go home, and they got out of their car when they got home. They didn't tell you anything in between. So it could be like I got in my car on my way home, and then I noticed something moving to the right of me.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure exactly what it was, but for a second I could have sworn I seen the shadow of a man. Like they're giving you details, but instead of being able to really describe the story, it could be like, I got in my car to go home. Oh my God, there was an ice cream truck. Squirrel, 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 ninja. But did I tell you that I got in my car to go home before you get to the part where and I got off my car when I got home. Is that what you mean? Like writing allows you to do the other one where you're describing all the moments in the shadows. And when you put it down on paper versus if you try to tell in real life, you have jumped everywhere, repeated yourself several times, and then come back and said, what was my line?
Yes, but it took me a long time to understand. Only until like right at the end. Because I was like, wait, what? And then you what? And got out of the car?
On a journey.
And didn't get out of the car? Or what happened in the car? What kind of car was it? And I was like, wait, no, listen to the story. And then I realized that, yes, exactly what you're saying. And I think that's the problem is not being able to describe the little details is the part that's not getting it all out because really you need to get the details out more than just the story.
Those little moments, those little things
But
are the actual sum of what it is. It is the whole story, not just the facts, not just the title of little girl goes to the library. My first time at the library. It's all the little things in between that make that thing what it is. Am I saying that right? Probably
yes.
not.
No, you are. But also, we're empaths. So sometimes we have to just tell the story because we know we can't give the details. So it's also for like self-preservation. It's also for, you got to know your audience. You got to read the room. I can't give the details to this certain person or in this space or situation. So it's not always bad either. No. Just like Glinda's not always bad.
She is.
She's really not.
I saw the bouffant she had as a hairstyle.
But she is. She is.
Did you see that fluffy dress?
She's fucked. Okay.
She looked like Little Bo Peep with glitter thrown on her. I help her out.
I could not disagree, but also pink for me actually makes me think of Barbie, and I loved Barbie, and I had Barbies, and I played with Barbie because Barbie for me as a kid was a way to explore the quote unquote feminine gay shit going on in my head. And I loved women and all the different shapes of women and the sound and the smell, but not in any kind of sexual way. So I also didn't necessarily villainize women in the way that most men are kind of like taught to, if that makes sense. And plus, I didn't have the sexual attraction, so I didn't have that like weird animalistic like apathy kind of thing. Because I have that with men. I really do. Because I'm attracted to men. So it's very easy for me to be like, oh, that was just a guy that I hooked up with and that's it. And gross. And I don't care about it. So I get it, but also to me, I have always looked up to women and respected and valued them because my mom is a single mom, and then just all of the representation I saw on TV, and I was like, women are awesome. Women are the best. So I didn't even really like pit Dorothy and Glinda and the Wicked Witch against each other. It was all circumstantial to me. And I just loved the ride. I liked putting myself into every character because they were all so cool to me. Like Dorothy's dress and hair. And yeah, Glinda was dumb, but I kind of want to know what it's like to. Smart. What does it feel like to have that giant dress? That's kind of.
She is Paris Hilton, but I'm not saying Paris Hilton is evil.
No, she's smart too.
That's what I'm saying. She's smart like that. Like she lets you think she's some, but she's not. And Paris Hilton she's super smart.
Also, no one is just any one thing, and I'm not
No.
trying to be so like woo woo hippie ish, but she has dumb moments just like I do, just
Yeah.
like you do, just like
Yeah.
anybody would. We're never any one way.
No, and I
We just
definitely
don't know.
agree. And that's why I feel like no, no one is, all one way or the other. But I definitely feel like she's like 80% evil.
Because of the pink.
Hmm.
Like it's just
Everything
like
about her, every fake nuance, everything. Versus the Wicked Witch, I feel like she's having a breakdown because her sister. So she's only 20%. She's not really evil. She's just grieving.
I loved her outfit and skin color more than Glinda.
Oh, me too.
Green? Are you kidding me? Obsessed.
I love Emerald. Oh,
Emerald is my birthstone
that's why
because
I
I
like
am
you.
a Taurus with an emerald birthstone. Plus, I've always every all the bright, colorful
Mm-hmm.
things about that. Also, I loved the creepiness of it because I also had read the books.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. I also had read the books, and the books are creepier
Mm-hmm.
than the thing. But also, there's Return to Oz,
Mm-hmm.
which is creepy and more kind of like the books were,
Mm-hmm.
which has Feruza Balk from The Craft, who played Nancy in The Craft, and she's got those like really pretty but like creepy eyes.
Oh, I've never seen it.
You've never seen The Craft?
No, the Return to Oz.
Oh, ooh, you gotta see it. It's really good.
No, the Craft. No, definitely. But see, like I know you said you love Barbie.
Uh huh.
I wish I don't know if you've ever heard of Monster High. It came out when I was a
Yes,
teenager.
I have heard of it.
If I was going to do feminine, that is what I would have wanted. It was both because that's who I am as a person. I am both masculine and I am both feminine, and everybody has um, some percentage of it. No one is without, and that is just all about the traits that you carry of certain sexes or whatever. But anyway, I am both, for sure. But the closest thing to me in that show, like Draculaura. I don't necessarily hate her in pink,
Right.
and she loves black. Like it was the best of both worlds, and I wish I had that representation growing up versus just one way, as if you know what I mean. Instead of it being more like everybody is like that, both light and dark, both
Yeah.
it could be animalistic or whatever, but also, the most, just like it, both sides versus Barbie. So for me, Barbie, until like the new version of Barbie that's on Netflix, don't judge me. Sometimes I'd be bored and I was like, I need children's shows because I don't want to think too hard and life is a struggle. Let me watch childhood problems. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes that's what it is. But like the Barbie that was around when I was younger, it was all about femininity. And I've always been this type of person. If everyone loves it and everyone says that has to be the thing that is it or in or the right or whatever it may be, I automatically don't like it.
Yeah, I have a
And so I
lot of
guess
those tendencies.
so girls must love pink. I hate it. Now I am starting as an adult to allow myself little things that are like, let's not go hardcore, so blush.
Right? But for me, it was you're supposed to like football. You're supposed to want to, I don't know, some
And because
stupid boy
no,
thing.
it makes sense because I wanted to know about sports when I was growing up. I
Gross.
wanted to do martial arts when I was
Never.
growing up. I like, knives and everything
Oh
else that's
no,
supposed to be
trust me.
masculine.
Knives were a thing. I was chasing everybody with a knife.
I didn't say chase. I meant
Oh,
like throwing
oh
knives
yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that.
Sorry, I didn't throw
Like
them. Well,
martial
maybe.
art weapons. I grew up watching a lot of martial art stuff with my dad. So like stuff like that was cool. All these little things that represented power. You know what I'm saying? But it's again, we had opposite experiences. So the thing on the other
Yes,
side looked like the
because
golden nugget.
to me, female is power.
Mm-hmm.
To me, and I identify as male and whatnot, but to me, feminine energy, embracing femininity and women specifically are the most powerful wonderful energy. So to me, a powerful woman
Mhm.
is true power, not a powerful male
And you know,
thing.
I
Does
get
that
what you're
make
saying. No,
sense?
it does, because the older I get, the more I am in love with the aspects of me that are feminine. I mean, I'm embracing it more and more every day, because growing up and the situations I was in, I wasn't allowed to be vulnerable. I had to protect myself. There was no one to protect me.
Right.
And being feminine and like that cute little thing or something, that made me a target, versus if overweight, you know, and I wear dark colors and I'm the black alternative kid before alternative was a thing. I was just an emo kid. But all of those things made me unattractive to people, and that kept me safe, and that was power, because it was a form of protection. Versus while femininity is super powerful, because it's so powerful, those who are scared or inferior to it seek to snuff it out. And to protect that femininity, I have to put on a coat of masculinity. So I believe
Yes.
you, but I'm saying, like, but
No,
that's the
but
layers of it.
that's my privilege though.
Mhm.
Like that's my privilege
Mhm.
because I appear male
Mhm.
and boyish, I guess, and because I am white,
Mhm.
I was told and inadvertently shown that I was good to go and fine and I could embrace femininity and
Mhm.
still be powerful.
Mhm.
I was given the privilege of still having the power that made embracing the femininity
Mhm.
feel even more powerful
Mhm.
because that is the trick. But in our society,
Mhm.
a woman can't really do
Mhm.
that a lot.
Mhm.
Like that's not a
If
real
someone is
thing.
too feminine, and then you have all these people who are staring in her wonder, in her glory, in her power, in her attractiveness, all of a sudden you have all these other individuals who want that for themselves, and they can't
Yes.
own it.
Oh,
They
but
want to
they want
snuff,
to.
and they do.
Oh, they want
First, they'll take
to.
out their competitors, and then once they have it, they'll snuff it out.
Uh-huh. Oh, and they hate her.
Oh,
They hate her.
yes.
They
And
hate
I feel
her.
like a lot of men hate women, which I
Yes.
don't understand. Because if you love something or like something, it should not come with hate. What's the point?
Right, but that's like
But
the
these are the same individuals who, if you're spending too much time with a woman, that makes you,
yeah,
whatever,
it's
sissy, whatever it is, but also at the same time, excuse my phrase, no homo.
right. No,
And it's very
legit.
confusing.
It's
It's very, very confusing. Either you like it or you don't, whatever way it may be. But I don't understand it. So the things that I love, I see the beauty in it. I see the glory in it. So I am straight woman, me, she, her. As Tamar Braxton
Mhm.
said, I've been watching the family, Braxton
Hey.
Family Values. So she, me, her, yes. Um, I'm attracted to men. So I don't, I'm not saying I see all good in men. I'm not stupid. But I see a beauty in men that isn't in women, because it's something different from me. It's something that I am attracted to. So, just as, softness is beautiful, I also think masculinity is beautiful. But I don't seek to snuff it out. I just seek to not be snuffed out myself.
Oh, absolutely. But then I have a whole different experience
Yeah.
there as well
Yeah.
because I am attracted to men,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I don't hold them in higher regard.
Hmm.
I am not attracted to women in that sexual way.
Hmm.
Excuse me. So I do actually hold women in a higher regard
Hmm.
because to me there is a beauty and a softness
Hmm.
and a words I can't even think of right now. There is an almost angelic
Hmm.
thing that I
Nurturing,
feel for
earthy.
women
Yeah.
because I have always been taken care of by women.
And see, I think that
Like,
that's very important too, Because for me, I'm not going to say I've been taken care of by men, but I definitely haven't been taken care of by women. So being a woman and not feeling that same thing that you're describing
Mhm.
puts me in a position of no side is safe. So it doesn't matter if I'm feminine on either side,
Right.
trying to impress a man or, just being with the girls. It leaves me to be vulnerable all around. And no one leaves me alone or lets me be if I'm not the masculine version of that.
Right.
So I know that probably sounds weird in what I'm trying to say, but like that
No, that
whole thing
doesn't
you're
sound
talking
weird.
about being taken care of, I don't know what it is. So in my mind, everybody can get it. It's even.
Right.
I see all people as a potential threat or terror. I'm not trying to snuff anybody out, but I'm also playing the long game of the apocalypse. Trying to survive, trying to be the last person left.
No, that I mean that makes complete sense.
But I'm just saying, like, it's so crazy, because I think that also probably makes me unique because I have a lot of female friends who women were people who took care of them. So even though
Yeah.
I might have female friends and we sit and talk, we still have separate experiences. Even if we can say, oh well, I
Oh
didn't have the
yeah.
greatest of this, I still never had that nurturing part they're talking about. So I don't
Right.
have the full experience of that either. If that makes any sense.
No, it does. But also being gay, I've also gotten that from men. Like I have
Mm-hmm.
been nurtured and loved,
Mm.
and also it, I don't know what it is specifically that makes me hold women in a higher
Mm-hmm.
regard. But I ultimately think, of course, it's just my own unique experience,
Mm-hmm.
which is that embracing the the feminine power
Mm-hmm.
that is vibrating with such a frequency in this world
Mm-hmm.
is the key to enlightenment to me in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but I also have always been told to not embrace it. And as a rebellious brat with an attitude problem, you're not going to tell me that I can't play with a doll. You're not going to tell me that I can't put on a dress. You're not going to tell me that I can't da da da. But I also had the privilege of not having to be as scared
Mm-hmm.
doing it too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the other layer
Mm-hmm.
as to why I trust women more.
Mm-hmm.
Because I never have an ulterior motive with a woman.
Mm-hmm.
I never do.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to sleep with any woman.
Mm-hmm.
And that changes how you interact with the person. And because I can't be nurtured by a man and loved by a man, I still have ulterior motives sometimes
Mm-hmm.
and not with a woman. So, of course, I think that must be why I hold them in a higher regard
Mm-hmm.
because I don't ever really try to manipulate a
Mm-hmm.
woman.
And I think what I hold in high regard are books.
Yeah,
Honestly,
no, get it.
honestly,
Get them books.
the understanding of the human mind, knowledge, the ability to use imagination and have these excursions all within the safety of paper, is the thing I hold because it's almost like real life, real
Uh-huh.
interactions are way more riskier, and I leave with a lot less growth. I feel like, or not growth, understanding.
I think watching it, reading it, trying to figure out my own experience by trying to get into a character or
Mm-hmm.
read a thing
Mm-hmm.
is so different than just watching
Mm-hmm.
because it's easier for me when I'm just reading text
Mm-hmm.
to be more sympathetic to a character than if I'm watching. Because if I'm just reading about Glinda, I'm not being as judgmental because I'm not seeing this fake pink bitch the entire time.
True.
So maybe because I also read
Mm-hmm.
and saw and
Mm-hmm.
don't even know at this point which came first.
Mm-hmm.
But at that point, I also had seen The Wiz
Mm-hmm.
and loved The Wiz and had seen Return to Oz. So all of my Wizard of Oz knowledge kind of came so much at the same time for me
Mm-hmm.
that I think it was easier for me to see each character as just a different side of the same coin, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like that's the ultimate lesson of the story, which I feel like is also what to me has always been so impactful. Because a lot of people are like, oh, well, it says everything you want is right in your own backyard. They're basically telling her to live in the. No, that's not the point. The point of it saying everything you want is already in your own front yard and you didn't have to leave home to find it does not mean your physical home. That's not the point. The point is
Mm-hmm.
you have it in you. Like, yeah, she's back in a black and white world, but she realizes the power she has in that quote unquote black and white world.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that has been the whole theme of The Wizard of Oz and of the witches in The Wizard of Oz. Is they all exist as different sides of the same coin because they are all so necessary for things to work.
That is very
We are
true.
all so necessary to show up as exactly who we are. But it is a little weird that water kills you. Like, how are you getting clean? What was happening before that? Like, how was she?
Maybe
Like,
somebody she
maybe.
loved. She's raised by her aunt and uncle, right?
No, no, Dorothy was fine. Dorothy couldn't. The Wicked Witch, when she got wet, melted and died.
But I'm saying it's all in her head, the whole story, right? So what if like someone she loved died by water?
Maybe. I never really think of it like that. I always think of it so, like, literally that I think of it as, like, her having to find her own courage,
Mm-hmm.
her having to find her own thing that I also always felt like they all existed as well. Like, I feel like Oz is real. And I do. But I mean, everyone has a different opinion and should, and that's fine. But to me,
Mm-hmm.
all those things exist because of each other and are necessary to understand each other. It's just like every different story. They're
Mm-hmm.
all necessary, but they
Mm-hmm.
all exist.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, they do. There is a scarecrow in the land of Oz, which you can't get to by a boat or a plane.
Mm-hmm.
Far, far away beyond the moon. I don't think you can say all the words to a song. Maybe I can, but I just can't sing it. Anyway, I never pitted the witches against each other in anything because I loved witches. Good, bad, green, pink. I was like, that's a bad bitch. No matter what.
And I think I've always viewed like the witches that are not the pretty or good ones
Mm-hmm.
as the ones who refuse to let others' opinions dictate on how they should live their life. And I like the rebellious ones, the ones that are like,
Yes.
this is who I am, warts and
Yes.
all. And I've always viewed the good ones, not necessarily the good ones. Like when I keep saying good, I mean like Glinda, the pink, whatever.
Right.
That is someone who is living to someone else's standard that's not their own. Because, we're not talking about fairy godmothers or nothing, but we're just talking about Glinda the Good Witch. But you get what I'm saying? Like the one who
Yes.
isn't, because some of the best witches or like best characters out there are people who are good, but they live that line of, okay, just because I'm good doesn't mean I'm a punk ass bitch.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
But I know so many pink bad bitches
Mm-hmm.
that genuinely just like pink. And to me, that sometimes is an even badder bitch move. Because it is so looked down on universally. Of course, not by everyone. I feel like more men and women look down on pink,
Mm-hmm.
whether or not they want to say it. So to me, there is something that just I'm like, yes, yes, wear that pink, do that super girl, like yes, Paris Hilton. I didn't even really. I did watch The Simple Life.
Oh, I liked her regardless.
But I didn't really like try to listen to her music or anything like.
No.
But I also knew that that was just one side of her that she was showing, even though I didn't know her.
Well,
because I also loved Elvira and grew up with Elvira, and she was in all black and got to be spooky and sexy and got to be different and sexy. So it kind of empowered me, which is partly why I love horror so much and love the other, is because then I felt like, oh, I can be weird and different and dark and be sexy. Yes, I can. Oh, yes, I can. So I get to be just from my privilege, I get to be more empowered by who you are than you do. And that's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And did you feel that way in The Wiz? Did it change? Did anything change your opinion about the story because you saw black women?
Yes.
See?
Not about the Good Witch. She annoyed me in that movie too. I think it's the only part of that movie I don't like.
But didn't she seem more layered? Because to me, she did seem more layered
Oh
than
no,
Glinda.
now she was more layered. Don't get me wrong.
Right?
She just was my favorite character. But no, it does change it. It does change it because also with Glinda the Good Witch, she looks like someone, and this is just us if we're going straight off of looks.
Yes.
Like people will judge other
Yes.
races and stuff, but she just looked like someone who had never known struggle. And if you've
Right.
never known struggle and you live in this bubble that it isn't a reality, it's a turnoff for those who have or who really know the struggle, I should say.
Right.
And that's
she just doesn't because she's white. That changes it. For real, because seeing her in her little pink bubble, that's so stereotypical. That is how most white women are. Aloof. And so of course you're not gonna look at Glinda in the same way I would.
Mm-hmm.
Because I also didn't see a lot of that ignorance and that privilege.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, there was way more even playing field because of my ignorance.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably another reason why it was easier for me to not hate on Glinda as much, I guess. But like, also, even for me in The Wiz, the good witch and the bad witch seemed on a more even playing field.
Yes. But, and what's funny too is maybe because you do see it in the household. So, like I said, that's the one auntie who is just, I guess we talked about this earlier. She just reminds me of like, that auntie with that sass, You've also got that auntie over here who has sass,
Yep.
but is classy about it.
Classy.
And that's what those two characters reminded me of. Versus in the other one, I guess it was just so
Polarizing.
Yeah,
Because there's not.
they're both witches, but you didn't get the same feel.
Because there's not the same class with white women.
No. I'm saying like.
But there's really. Yeah. It's not as classy. Like there is an inherent like privileged aloofness
that gives me more not arrogance, ignorance than anything else.
Right.
So when I look at that, I'm like ignorance versus I look at something over here and I'm like, someone who knows the world outside of their own being.
Yes.
And that's what I saw the difference. So the Wiz, it was like, okay. Because like I don't know if people understand, but white people don't have to learn other cultures.
No.
But other cultures have to learn how white people work. So it don't matter if you're Asian, Indian, Mexican or Native or whatever it may be, you have to know not only your culture and tradition and hold on as tight as you can because it might be snuffed out. You have to know the other culture that is always looking to snuff out someone else's culture.
Right.
So you are more aware of them than they are of anyone else. And that is a difficult place to be in. Just like a heads up. And that's what it represented. The other two knew struggle. They knew life. It was just two women who decided to do something. They chose different paths to deal with similar pain. Versus the other two, it's, oh my God, here's that bratty cousin who steals my dolls. And then the older, awkward, cousin who's like, I'm really tired of Susie. She's got to die. It was like that. Like, that's how it felt. Versus the other two where it was, like you said, it felt more real, more 3D. It had more texture.
Yeah. And I think that comes from not telling only one story from one specific way. Mm-hmm. Like the whiteness of it all is such an unfair lens to make everyone have to view things from, because there's so much more class and just every culture and person is so wonderful and unique and perfect and much more common than you would ever think by ingesting any media. Because all the media is, every story is white, everything is white. Of course, things have been changing and there are different stories being told, but that's the importance. Because things from that kind of fake, put on, ignorant white place are not stories that really matter or that anyone really cares about, because there's no stakes, no issue really at the end of the day. You're like, okay, well, you're gonna be fine, so what's the point in the story? And she's probably gonna be fine too. Okay, whatever happens. It's just the way media does this is right and this is bad is equivalent to how media teaches people to shame other people for simply existing. Like, shame a woman for being a woman, shame a black woman for being a black woman, shame. The way so many stories of the past were told was done to almost try to erase other people.
They call it whitewashing.
Yeah. So trying to erase
even the statues, they remove the color from statues. so that their color wasn't there anymore. Like it's a lot of things. It's a lot of things. No, you're right in that essence. And
But that essence is what makes the world beautiful. And that's what the
being
white
told to
people
be.
are trying to
Well,
take because
I remember I remember a teacher saying, or someone in my life, or it could have been from a commercial, saying that story is that history is only the story that the first. I forgot how am I trying to say this? History is told by the winner. I know that. You know what I'm saying?
yes,
And
yes.
it's through the lens of someone who
Who
got there first
someone who felt right.
and just
It doesn't mean they were there first because we know how that turned out. The
but
people that were here first were made to feel like they were discovered.
true. But I mean first as in the first who is able to convince their neighbor and to get it down on paper that this is what's true. And that's all I'm saying because such a small place has touched a lot of the world and
Yeah.
changed a lot and erased a lot, which is actually very scary and dangerous. And if the aliens would just come down and save us,
And
me,
that's what
me,
Glinda was
people
doing.
of color, and spicy whites.
Glinda was eliminating the good things.
hmm it's oh my god, I'm such a good. It's that white savior.
Yeah, that's what.
It's that I'm going to do such a great job. I'm not racist. I had a black nanny. I'm so not racist that here I go and give money to this poor black African child. It like that's what it is.
Yeah.
You're so worried about looking like you understand everyone else. You're not taking the time to understand everyone else. And that is what's infuriating. You think, like I've had to say once or twice before, that's okay. You don't have to be black for me. Like I'll let you know when it's inappropriate.
Right.
Okay, I will
Yeah.
let you know. And some things is obvious, but some things it's like you just came on the tail end of something we were saying,
Yeah.
and it's whoa, 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 we'll be okay. Okay, because this is not the moment for you to use your white power to shield me from whatever you're thinking
Right.
you're shielding me from. Okay, we need to use that in other scenarios, like living in the woods.
Ugh.
I'm just joking.
I'm a spicy white. I'm not trying to live in the woods. No. No. I'll take a hike here and there, and like the woods are pretty. Listen, daytime walking around.
Mhm.
Am I gonna sneeze? Probably.
I just have a question. Why? And this, I don't know how this is going to come off. It may come off offensive. They'll let me know or cut it or whatever. But why does a group of individuals who spend all of their time visiting other worlds to tell other people that they are living their lives as caveman, dumb, tribe, savage sort of way? And this is where you should be living, and this is what a house is, and this is what this is. Crave to be outside so much in the places that they cut. Like it's you try so hard to be in the woods, but you murdered all the trees. I don't understand. You fought so hard to tear down all these trees to make your houses. And then what do to feel good about yourself and like you're one with the people and you're having that retreat for the CEOs? You go out into the wilderness that you said that you hate is only for savages. I don't understand. Please explain it to me. Like, why people who burn so easily in the sun, are you obsessed with the outdoors? Tell me.
Here's the thing I'm gonna say.
It might be rude. I'm sorry.
You're not being rude at all. Anyone that's going out into the woods to chop a tree is not my people, and I don't know anything about them to explain at all. Not a clue. Not only would I never cut down a tree, I only when I've gone camping the few times I've had to go, would just pick up just random sticks on the ground. I didn't cut no wood. I wasn't chopping no wood. I absolutely cannot. So those are not my people. I don't know. I can't explain. I wear sunscreen.
I think
I don't
people
want to
too,
be
like I hear people that I work with describe how it feels gross outside. They burn so easily, and that they hate bugs. Decide to go on a river floating trip.
Oh, don't even talk to me
Like,
about a float
and,
trip.
oh my God, we're gonna have such a great time. What? Floating down the river.
No.
Why do I need to float down the river? To
No.
have fun. Like I'm confused. Please help me, excuse me. I don't
Okay.
understand. Like I don't want to go outside. Okay? And it's not because I'm feel like it's beneath me or any coloristic view. I like artificial air.
Oh,
I
love
like not sweating my balls out off. I don't have any,
Sweat
but
them out even.
I can buy some and sweat them off.
I do not want to play in water or sit in the water or throw water balloons or spray water guns. I don't want to swim. I don't know how to swim. I'm 40 years old and I will never learn how to swim. I don't need to. I'm fine. Water is not a toy. You clean with it, you drink it, you leave it the fuck alone.
I can agree because I went to a beach and I would like to say the best thing about the beach was sitting on the sand. Not to tan, but just to sit on the sand. The worst part was the water that everybody goes, oh my God, I saw the ocean. It really rejuvenated me. You're not going to sit here and talk about how dank it smells?
It's disgusting.
It stinks.
It's just a bunch of poop. It's all poop.
Right. And then we're just out here, poop.
No, we are not.
You get what I'm saying? Like it smells nothing like but seaweed and nature and fertilizer,
fish and poop, and I don't like any of those smells.
And my legs were touched by a lot of seaweed, and I always felt like I was gonna die. And it's not even down there. So one time you could be like, "Oh my God, it's so nice and light," and the next minute you just step to the right, and there goes baby Jose.
Poor baby Jose. Caught up and swept away. Sail away.
I don't like. Yes, I'm a Cancer sign, water sign, whatever. And I'm gonna tell you the waters are treacherous.
Listen,
from my emotions alone, I can tell you that the waters are treacherous.
There is nothing wrong with loving water and swimming in water, playing in water. I ain't going. I don't want to. Leave me alone. I don't want to do jello shots. I don't want to get a freaking sunburn. No. Shut up and quit. Get out of the water.
Everybody at work who's going, oh man, yeah, I got to burn. Man, I burned. Oh, it's going to be a great tan. What?
Gross.
You know what? I tan too, and I don't ever burn. But you don't see me out there.
Yeah, and that's a whole other thing, which then brings it right back around to the Wizard of Oz versus the Wiz. Mm-hmm. Evil is so multidimensional that your lived experience dictates how you really perceive evil. And who and what type of person you just visually empathize with more. Because something in The Wiz made every character seem more layered.
Michael Jackson.
Listen.
I'm just saying.
Listen.
The Cowardly Lion.
Oh, it was all. But I loved the other Cowardly Lion too. But there was just.
It was something different.
It.
Like Michael Jackson as a Scarecrow captured my heart. It was like, yes. I am going to do anything to make sure this person You know, like it was just.
But that's because in The Wizard of Oz, Judy Garland was the star.
Mhm.
They weren't trying to do the movie The Wizard of Oz for real. That's why they changed so much.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, the slippers were not ruby slippers.
Oh yeah. I thought you were talking about something else. Yeah.
No, just and what, but lots of other little things, and it was all catered to. And think about it, Judy Garland is the standout thing, performance wise, in that movie. She is acting. Everyone else is doing like a characterization. Everyone else feels artificial. That's kind of, I think, what they felt like the point was back in the 30s. But I think as
the year I was born,
1930, that was a good year. I wasn't born until the 2000s.
I believe it.
I was born in 2001. So ultimately, the way the story is told is how it becomes perceived, which is exactly what you were saying about how history is told by the winner or whatever. Like Wizard of Oz was told through the lens of Judy Garland is the star. You know, like the way a story is told is all dependent on the experience of the person and people involved. Because the Wiz was multidimensional because the cast was so rich in acting ability that no one was really trying to be a characterization of anything.
Yeah.
But the Wizard of Oz was.
Yeah.
So that also changed it. But I think that was also because the Wizard of Oz is all white, because that comes from the privilege of that, which has more of an aloof ignorance inherently. You know? And I think that's why, if I had to pick one, that I'd probably be more connected to the Wizard of Oz. Because to me, of everything that the Wizard of Oz is, Judy Garland as the star, the performer, is the standout thing to me. Even from reading the books, seeing Return to Oz, seeing The Wiz, when you say the Wizard of Oz, I think of Judy Garland. I don't think, you know, like it's not as thought out to me with the Wizard of Oz. Because I really did just feel like a Judy Garland dream. But The Wiz felt more like a story about this place that's inside of this girl. You know, like it really. So it's just so interesting that even the way media tells a story is so informed by everyone's different individual perception. What a revelation.
I know.
Wasn't it?
Oh my God. Thank the smoking for us, whatever.
It was all a beautiful, beautiful experience.
Oh. This is in Kansas?
I think you were there and you were there and you know, the whole time I was there, all I kept saying is I want to go home. And they did. They sent me home. And now that I'm here, I can see that everything I ever wanted was right here in my own backyard. And oh, Annie M, there's no place like home.
Yes, I love that.